All right, so last night I started watching the movie Don't Look Up. It's on Netflix. Definitely a critique of society as of late. And I gotta admit, I enjoyed the movie. It was really well made. And it's not only, I don't think it's only about the coronavirus pandemic. I think it's overall, so it's over about everything that is happening in our lives. More likely towards um, climate change. Yeah, you could say the pandemic, the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic that we've been living for the past 2 years. There are so many similarities of some of the characters to people in real life. The idea of a campaign of like going like, oh, don't look up, but most of it's like trying to ignore that something is real and it's going to happen, and just saying, yeah, well, if we don't pretend it doesn't exist, it's not going to affect us. It's like when people say about global warming, oh, but I don't see evidence, or I don't want to look at that. Let's just pretend it doesn't exist. It's not going to happen. And that's the situation that is happening in similar in this movie, And we know that global warming, of course, like with extreme weather events that we're seeing recently, it's real. It's the science has proved to be right, but we have decided just to ignore it. Same with some people with a pandemic. Oh, I don't believe in viruses. I think I got my own opinion. I think it's just going to be on my own way. It's going to be different. It's just going to be tiny. And then we eventually, by ignoring that, we then face the consequences, and then the consequences hit us. In this case, it was death. In other things, it's just like we have to now experience the consequences of we ignoring those facts, like dealing with a catastrophe that natural events that we're experiencing now bring us. And then in terms of like the pandemic, it's like, so you don't get vaccinated, you didn't take precautions, people are losing family members and all that kind of stuff to this virus. And now we have another variant coming up, and I'm pretty sure that at some point or another, and I don't mean to be a full scientist, but if things continue this way, we may see another variant popping up, or maybe there's going to be another virus, because that's the thing that also viruses exist. There are other viruses that may come up in the near future, So if we haven't learned anything from this situation that we experience, in the future we're going to have the same exact problems again. So definitely a lot of analogies to the modern world, and the things like, it shows like we don't want to change, we want to pretend, we want to do something else. And then, like, of course, the capitalist interest in the movie, very similar to what we're seeing now too. Like, Elon Musk probably created electric cars, and we know electric cars, how they work, but like, do they really solve the problem of global warming, Or is this just something that Elon Musk did to enrich himself? We know he has enriched himself, who can't freaking purchase an electric car, They are expensive. And you could argue, oh, the technology, yada yada, but like, who is getting rich in the process of, of this, like, oh, the global warming is the same, and you want to purchase an expensive car, but you're making an expensive person a billionaire or millionaire. And then, of course, there's the thing that they're going to space, all that kind of stuff, or Amazon even now, like, what happened with the tornado? Oh, there's a tornado that is coming. It's imminent, and it's like, no, people cannot go home to their families. Like, damn. And then the warehouse got destroyed, and people died in the warehouse. So, yeah, definitely a movie that touches reality and how we live in reality, and definitely a good movie that I would recommend to anybody. It was a great movie. The ending made me laugh because, like, the guy that plays Peter, he's like a version of like, the one who did Apple. I forgot the name. It's not Cook. It's the other one, the one that died a few years ago. I forgot the name. Oh gosh. But yeah. Making his prediction. Oh, you're going to die eaten by a Brontorok. I don't know what that means. And out of us, I was like, I wish they showed that scene where she dies, and they did. And holy fuck, that was hilarious. And then they ending like her son on her. It's like, oh hey, Earth, I'm the only survivor. It was funny. It was a fun movie. Very sarcastic humor. I totally enjoyed it. Definitely a movie worth watching. And damn, it was just great. It was well written, and it was great. I also saw that Netflix has Knight Rider, and even though I got the DVD of Knight Rider, now Knight Rider's on Netflix. Now I can watch it there. Yes, Knight Rider, the old car with a computer, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely something that I'm going to be watching. But damn, the whole movie, it was such an interesting movie. I will. I'll totally watch it again, but like definitely recommend it. It was fun to watch. I enjoy it, and yeah, like things like that are happening now, Um, and the sad part is like if we don't change the way that we do things, if we continue having people that is like going to ignore things, we're going to pay the price in the future. I mean, we're already paying the price in the future, especially when it comes to global warming and the weather events, catastrophic weather events where they're getting bigger, like hurricanes are getting bigger, way more powerful, and we think, oh well, it's just the way nature goes, and we don't want to change anything of the way that we're living. So yeah, and also movie put into perspective the interesting thing is like, what are we living? We are honestly look at the events in Earth, but also like their scientists are saying that there could be an asteroid coming and hitting us. It could be a possibility. And what are our life existence? We go through this life just working and just focusing on like enriching ourselves, material things. And in the end, when we die, what are we left with? And that's also the other allegory that I saw in here. What is more important in life? Enriching ourselves, money, or just like caring about each other. Taking care of ourselves or of our family, of the planet. So it's a very interesting movie, very interesting topics that it brings. And definitely a movie that is worth watching, and I hope that you do.